Alright, in lieu of me catching up on all the crosscast content over on Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and carve out the original, more centered I Saw God logo for the TAC intro that Zach did both instrumentally and vocally, but I thought it would be cool, thought it would be fun, and also maybe you'd feel a little bit more accomplished in lieu of our other channels or my other channels and the other stuff we're doing, if I were to go ahead and, for the first time ever on Sean Cross, do a carving montage. And, well, we're going to see how long this takes me to do. So, hope you enjoy. If you want to see more logo carving sessions in the future, just go ahead and let me know what logo you would want me to do. Possibly look into like a commission payment of some sort, because chances are most of y'all are going to make it a meme and just give me the most diabolical logos to do. But honestly, eventually, I'm willing to turn this into live stream content over on Twitch and start doing live streams for the first time. Or I can start doing it on Instagram. It just really depends on how this goes. But let's go ahead and start with I Saw God.
So I can see why friends become enemies.
Also, bit of a disclaimer, if you're not really a fan of watching people eat their food, like, I'm going to do my best to censor it where I can, but for the most part this is going to be a live commentary and carving session. So, disclaimer ahead of time, I'm going to do my best not to be so gross, I guess. But let's go ahead and get into the carving, okay? So, right off the bat, I have a document or two inside Procreate, which is the main program I use, and inside this program is a whole section for logos, and these are all of the other logos I've carved. I'll actually go ahead and start the session right now, or start the screen recording on my iPad now, so you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? As you can see, got a whole bunch of them, including Yandere Chainsaw Regurgitation Factory. That's one I'm planning to do. Waking the Cadaver is another one. Russian Slam Band Decomposition of Entrails, that's another one I'm planning to do. But today we're doing I Saw God for the A through L logo collection. And really up until that collection becomes too big. So for starters, we'll go ahead and select, I'm not even sure what the command is called, but you'll see it in the upper left hand corner when you're getting into doing this type of work. This will be an automatic cropper, helps out a lot with various different things. As you can see, I do this a lot, I really have, and I've been doing it since really the beginning of the channel. This logo though is going to be lots of fun. So first, I usually start out with the outer layers, okay? Pretty good start. It got most of the spaces and most of the stuff that I didn't want in there. So usually I'll just go ahead and stick to step one, getting the outer layer just cut out completely. You hit the arrow icon, or the what you'll usually see, your mouse indicator, right, for your desktop, and then with your finger you're just going to drag all of that off screen. Now you will notice that there is a little bit of white noise, right, with these outer pieces. I would consider this to spray. It's supposed to be kind of a spray paint texture. I don't really worry about that, not yet. Now, we'll go ahead and just get all of these chunks out that we think will be easier to access. And this is the less tedious part of the process, is just cutting out all these bigger chunks. That way, later on, you can kind of just piece together the smaller parts of the logo to get your carving done, as I call it, which really, it's not actually carving, and my process used to be a lot more complicated, but in that way this ends up also being a how-to video of sorts. Guess I need to watch How to Train Your Dragon again here pretty soon. But as you can see, right, we're continuing to take out these bigger chunks. And really, the biggest thing I would say about logo carving is patience. You gotta really take this one step at a time, because the last thing you want to do is force the process and then lose most of your progress. There were many days, especially back in 22 and 21, when I was working from home, and a great test of my patience, a great obstacle and expenditure, I would say, of my patience was carving logos whilst I was working. Sometimes these calls would be coming in so fast and so consistently throughout the day that, you know, I would have to jerk my hand a certain way, or I'd have to, like, I didn't even do that. I'd have to spring my hand over here to the mouse, because the mouse is right here. And I'd have to, like, quickly do that, or go over to the keyboard, and I would undo all my work. It's an unfortunate thing, really. But that ended up teaching me that this texture usually helps me out, because you're just boom, boom. So we continue our work, and really I think that carving has more than enough space. Look at all that we're just about to peel away, right? If only this was more of a physical thing, this could be one of those, like, satisfying videos, I guess, like when they're peeling back a thin layer off something, maybe helping a snake shed its skin. Now, really, I would say, because this is a smaller logo, thank goodness, there's not that much space to cover anymore. I'm sorry for that drastic zoom out there. That's usually just helps me out a little bit. But like I said, just go to certain spots in the logo, go to certain areas, and just slowly piece this together. You don't want to rush it. And this ends up teaching you how to appreciate the small details, amongst other things. So, continue working on that. Get all these white patches out of here, really. And I would say eventually, because as you can see, the more we zoom in, the more there are these finer spots of white noise. Like, you can't really escape it, right? Well, eventually, once you carve out enough, which we will get to tonight, I do believe, once you get to a point and you're really satisfied with your work, you're really satisfied with your carving, you just turn the whole thing black. You use, I forgot what the tool is called. It's on the left, next to this cropping or adjustment tool in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. What you do is you'll just kind of cancel out all of the extra noise and make everything the same exact shape. And this will also be really, really nice, really satisfying for when you want to add, you want to put certain color patterns, almost like skins, I guess, and you want to put certain skin JPEGs over what you're already doing. The moment that I figured out how to use clipping masks, well, most of the Anatomy Crosscast and its artwork, my thumbnails, really, that's when I think a lot of people who have been there since the beginning, or who have been here, whoops, okay, I messed up, dang, okay, so now we gotta restart that. But I think a lot of people could tell, I think in 21, no, I would say like later 22, that's when I really learned how to utilize the clipping mask the way that I wanted to. Everything after that was fantastic. I can't tell you how many times I felt cool making these thumbnails from home whenever I was. And just how I'm like, yeah, I know how to, I'm a graphic art designer, I'm a graphic artist now. There's still plenty that I'm learning to do, but for the most part, the clipping mask is probably one of the most, it's probably one of the most fascinating things that I've learned to do. And we messed up again. So like I said, you really, really gotta be patient with this, and you gotta not rush, no matter how much more time it might take. You don't want to rush it. And most likely, I'll go ahead and chop this bit. And I definitely think it was important that I took the time to be quiet, right? To really, really focus in. Because as opposed to before, when, you know, I was working a full-time job from home, and I would have to be talking and vocalizing just like that, but really I'd be more or less repeating script over and over again, trying to get as many sentences compacted into 1 minute as possible in one breath. And sometimes I was even working out. Well, that ended up being quite the challenge, and it taught me to multitask in a lot of ways, but when you don't have to, don't. So that was a big chunk, okay? That was a really, really big chunk. We're gonna go ahead and take that out. We got one little thing to do here, and then we get to witness the magic of turning every pixel in this image to our preferred color. Now really, when you get to that part of carving out a logo, which really, it just makes things so much more cheaper than, or less time consuming as well, as opposed to just reaching out to an artist and possibly waiting multiple business days. It really just depends. Some artists are really good with that. They love to get people in their DMs, but just, you know, not getting bombarded with DMs. I don't think anybody does, even if they are an extrovert. you have those situations to where sometimes they're just really they're not available. So you got to figure this out for yourself. And I know that's one thing that I'm so glad I went through the process of doing. Even if, you know, I don't have a degree or certificate as a graphic art designer, and even if there are plenty of things that I can still learn, and that are then associated with a certificate of any kind regarding graphic arts, no matter what school you're going to get it, there are really only a couple fine-tuned details and fine-tuned specific processes that I'm not yet familiar with. I would say just going through with a design sometimes and going through that process, just like any type of artist, of making something, finishing it, and then moving on, right? For me, I just have yet to get into just commission pieces, and what I mean by that is like a full image, mainly for album covers or single artwork, so song artwork. Well, oops, that takes a lot more than just a couple letters on an image. Like you're gonna want to do a lot more than just that. So that's, I think, the one thing that I haven't done yet, and the one thing that I have yet to be confident enough in just making an image, just to say I made an image, made scenery, made a background for it too, possibly something that you can animate and manipulate however you want to. I have yet to do that, but I can easily say that if you've been watching Sean Cross, like since at least 22, because I totally get it if most of y'all may be watching this video, if you have been subscribed and you're watching this, I don't blame you if you weren't here for 2021, or if maybe you were here for 2021, damn it, and you decided to leave for a little bit, right? My videos in 2021 starting off, I mean, everybody's first batch of videos is awful, it's terrible. And I could easily say, looking back, that most of my uploads back then were not the best, but, you know, I was like balls to the wall just trying to get things kick-started, so of course everything was trial and error. I looked goofy as hell half the time going through those trials, but it was worth it, because now we are here. We are in a higher spot, not a spot of monetization per se, which is really where I would like to be right now, especially regarding my financial situation. No pressure at all, but you have to appreciate all those small details, like I said earlier. And this is one way to understand just how tiny those details can be sometimes. But I promise y'all, you stick around and it'll be worth it. You stick around and you're going to find yourself possibly wanting to pick up a Procreate tablet yourself. And I don't mean that, I don't say that to be clickbaity in any means, any way. I'm not one of those people. I don't think it's within the best interest of someone to try to sell them something so hard for possibly no reason, or maybe to just disappoint them in the end anyways. There's a big difference then as well. In my opinion, there's a big difference between good marketing and like being one of those clickbaity folks. I've never believed in that, and I can assure you all that if Sean Cross ever gets into a position of sustainable monetization, that everything that I'm sponsored by or endorsed by, I will be using that basically every day. Like, if I could, Dr. Squatch, Gamer Subs, let's see, Bio World Socks, like, that's I've been doing all that for a long time. So here's the satisfying part, okay? Because there are no other spots that I can see that I want to pluck out or carve out. All of the rest of these finer tuned details are good to go. I don't find it necessary to cut these out. So, like I said, you have the symbol up here in the upper left-hand corner on the right of the word gallery. We've been using this the entire time, right? So then, on the left of that, adjustments is what it's called. You go to hue, saturation, and brightness. Go to brightness, all the way down. Look at that. Look at that. Magnifico. Looks great, doesn't it? Boom. You have your logo. Now, let's see. I do believe, then, for that video, that's all that really needs to be said for carving out a logo. Next video, it will be adding the clipping mask to it, adding different patterns and textures, adding photos in, really. There will be other videos. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. And just like the great Eternal Music Machine people, all of its necessary pieces in the great puzzle that is music, music journalism, graphic art design, correlating then with music releases like we were talking about earlier. Let's keep cranking. I'll see you guys next time.